This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David and joined with me, as always, my co-host Brian. Brian, how are you today?
Fart.
Oh, fuck. Ugh. I hate you so much sometimes.
You walked into it.
No, I didn't walk into
You
it.
did.
I hate you so much. Before we get things going, I want to welcome everyone to Talking Pictures Podcast. We have new episodes every single Wednesday, so if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice. You can follow us on all of our social medias. They're down in the links below, as always, to never miss an episode. Brian, we're here today to talk about, as you so eloquently put, the farting show, which is the newest entry into the Song of Ice and Fire universe, which is A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the next Game of Thrones show, the next HBO's Game of Thrones show.
I'm taking it you didn't like it.
Why would you say that?
Farts.
I think, would it be fair if we... I don't want to start on a bad note, but like I feel like if I got out everything that I didn't like about it first, and then we can go into the things I did like about it. Okay, that's all right then. So what I really dislike about the show, and it's only two things, okay? It's not a lot. It's two things. It's the toilet humor. I don't think I'm alone in saying this, is that like a lot of people I saw online didn't like the toilet humor of the show. I just found it to be crass. I felt as though it didn't... Like, not that there's a time and a place for toilet humor. I feel as though the only time toilet humor is funny is in something like Jackass, where it's like, it's all lowbrow humor. It's all that kind of bottom of the barrel, like people getting injured and fart jokes and toilet jokes and all this stuff. Whereas in the Game of Thrones universe, it just felt like, what are we doing here? What are you like? It was the whole intro sequence where we're getting reintroduced into this world. We go, okay, we're gonna go something. It's something slightly different. It's what you know, but it's not what you know. And by the way that we're gonna do that is we're gonna play the Game of Thrones theme song, and it's gonna be this slow build. And it's like, oh yeah, Game of Thrones. Remember Game of Thrones? And as it's about to build, it's a cut to a guy taking a shit behind a tree, and I'm like. This was in the first 5 minutes and I genuinely nearly turned it off. I was like, what is this? What is that? What are you trying to say with that joke? Are you trying to shit on Game of Thrones? Are you trying to say like, oh, it's something different? We're going for a more comedic aspect. And I'm like, that's not funny. What's funny about that? Can you tell me what's funny about that? Genuinely, I'm asking you.
You asking me?
Yeah, genuinely, what's funny about Dunk shitting behind a tree and like us seeing shit come out of his ass? What's funny about that?
Well, first of all, it was skittery shit as well.
Yeah, even worse. Like I don't want to see any shit, but I definitely don't want to see skittery shit.
I think Ira Parker, the showrunner, said that it's okay to see our heroes in doing things or be in positions where they do the exact same things as we do. The closest thing in Game of Thrones was, spoiler alert for Game of Thrones, if you have not watched Game of Thrones, watch Game of Thrones, then come back here and listen to this podcast. Spoiler warning for Game of Thrones. The closest thing we got to what you're describing in Game of Thrones, the premium TV show, most especially in the height of its prime, even just before its peak, or maybe
The height of its powers. Yeah.
probably during it, was when one of the most primary characters took a bolt to the chest
Yeah.
while he was on the toilet.
Yeah.
Not the...
Even as you were saying that, I had to think back. I was like, what is he even going to say? I couldn't even compare it. But yeah, I think even that comparison is again completely different, because one of the character is sitting on the toilet and you don't see anything. Or it's not played for laughs.
Yeah, but it's not your cinematic
experience.
It's not your...
But that's the point of the scene as well. That's the whole thing of like, Tywin Lannister is essentially the king in all but name, and here he is reduced to being killed on the toilet in the most vulnerable position, one of the most powerful men in the entire country, in the whole world of Game of Thrones, and he dies in the most vulnerable position that could possibly be in.
Yeah. I won't deny that Dunk, a cutaway from the Game of Thrones team to Dunk taking a shit behind the tree, and we see it all on display.
Mm-hmm.
That is done to get a laugh out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It does also seriously subvert the expectations of this show.
Mm-hmm.
It does throw a spanner in the works of what we know the Game of Thrones. Like, no, not only is this a show where the journey is far beyond the throne,
Mm-hmm.
it's a show where we will see stuff in Westeros that we have never seen before.
Okay.
The small folk, the grind and the dirtiness.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought this up.
What do you mean?
Because you can't do that. You can't say, we're going to subvert your expectations. This is not Game of Thrones. Yes, it's set in Westeros. Yes, we may see places or see family names that you may recognize.
Mm-hmm.
But we're different from Game of Thrones. This isn't Game of Thrones. Don't expect Game of Thrones. And we're going to do that by, here's your precious theme song, fart joke, shit joke over it. And then, 4 episodes later, as we're getting to a bit of a climax, guess what we're going to do? We're going to play the Game of Thrones theme song, and we're going to build the goosebumps, and we're going to get the emotions flowing. It's like, yeah, remember Game of Thrones? Yeah, we're going to do this. And it's like, pick one. You can't do both. You can't say, we're going to subvert your expectations, and then guess what? Actually, your expectations were right. We're going to do exactly that, and we're going to play this song to get the nostalgia going, to make you reminisce on the great moments of Game of Thrones. One or the other. One or the other. And I think
I disagree. They've done both, and I think they've done it well. So.
I think that this is where we fundamentally disagree. I think it's an awful choice to do it at the start.
You're also describing it at length as if it happens multiple times. It happens twice.
Yeah,
Briefly.
Yeah, but they're so memorable because it's only done twice. If it was done every episode, that'd be a different story. But it's like, yeah, the two contexts of which they use them for is, oh, this is grandiose Game of Thrones fart joke, and then the other side is grandiose Game of Thrones. It is Game of Thrones. So it's like, pick one. You can't do both. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yes, they can.
No, you can't.
But they did.
No, they didn't, because here I am complaining about it. It's like, it doesn't work.
It works for me.
Well, you're wrong. You're not wrong, but it doesn't work for me. Okay. The other thing then I was going to say,
being wrong is a rightful life.
yeah. But if they had just done it the way they had done it in every other episode, where the title just comes up, that's perfectly fine. It works in every other instance. It's like, don't make a big deal about it. Just move on with the world. Like, don't acknowledge the Game of Thrones until that later scene when you're, yeah, okay, you've set yourself aside, or you've established yourself within the Westeros world without the use of Game of Thrones, without the pull back on the nostalgic stuff. And so then by the time that would have been played the second time, it feels, oh yeah, okay, no, you've earned this now. You've kind of cemented yourself within Westeros, and here we go.
I think it adds a bit of diversity.
I don't know. I think that we're coming at it from two different angles then. The other thing that I will complain about, and I don't have much to complain about it on because it didn't do it consistently, is the editing. And it was specifically within the first episode, and it was just in relation to there was a moment where Dunk I think he's given a bit of a speech, and he mentioned something in the past, and then they do quick flashbacks, and it was like edited really quickly for comedic purposes.
It's a quick cutaway.
Yeah, and it takes me out of the fantasy show that I'm watching. They've done it. A clear example I would use in Game of Thrones is the sequence where Sam is in the Citadel, and it would cut back and forth between him like emptying lavatories and like serving food, and it's specifically a sequence that is edited for comedic effect, and it's done like to a kind of musical rhythm. And every time I see it, I go, I'm watching a TV show. And this was someone making these deliberate editing choices to make these things all flow together. And I don't like it. And so, and any other time,
the editing was in your face.
Yeah, when
it reminded you of the say it with me.
No, you're on your own.
Fuck you then.
The technological.
No.
Okay.
No, fuck you. Technological techniques of filmmaking.
Yeah.
On display for a fantasy show.
Yeah. Like, the only time I should be reminded that I'm watching a fantasy show,
will you?
The only time I should be reminded I'm watching a fantasy show is when the credits roll. And I go, oh yeah, I was watching a TV show. And luckily, They only did that a handful of times, and it was there. It was in your face, and I felt as though I was like, I don't like this. I hope they don't continue with this, because any other time in Game of Thrones or in any of the other shows, anytime we've seen a flashback, it's deliberately done as a flashback. It's not a character thinking back and then we cut away to it. Like when we saw it in Game of Thrones, it was Bran moving backwards in time. You know, that kind of way. It's purposefully done, whereas this time around it's in your face and it's for comedic effect, or it's
frantic.
It's frantic. Now, that being said, it was only really done in maybe that one instance in the first episode. I think maybe it happened in the second episode. It wasn't as...
There was a few moments where Dunk was talking about Sir Arlen Pennytree, and he would talk about how noble he was or how mighty he was, and fast snippet edit to a young Dunk getting a punch to the face by Sir Arlen.
You only hit me when... Yeah, it was like, you only hit me when I deserved it. And then it was like, bop, 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 bop. Like 3 or 4 different cuts.
Yeah, but there was one flashback I thought was so funny. And it had little dialogue than what you think. It was when Dunk was saying, probably to the Duke of Ashford, Nidgy. Nidge from Love Hate. That Sir Arlen made me a knight or something like that. And it was when young Duncan, Sir Arlen Pennytree, were walking towards the camera, walking towards us on horseback, and Dunk says to Sir Arlen, "Do you think I would make a great knight?" And Sir Arlen he doesn't say anything for like a bit, and he just spits out something out of his mouth like he was chewing on a lump of bread, and he just spits it out away from him, and he doesn't even respond. He doesn't say anything. He just... I thought that just captured the humour quite well. Hence my reaction. He's asking a genuine question, like a young aspiring noble question that of one day I could be destined for greatness. Do you think I'd be a great knight? Because this is the protagonist we're following here, and his would be mentor just doesn't even respond, as if he didn't hear him. He just spits something out.
You found this way funnier than I did, clearly, yeah.
The way he spat the food out, like you can really hear the forceful thrust of his jaws spitting it out. I thought it was so funny, and he doesn't even answer him at all.
All right, now Brian's making this up. This was not this funny. I couldn't even actually tell you what that scene was. No, you're taking the piss now.
No, I'm not fake laughing. I'm serious.
Okay.
Can you not see me right now?
Yeah, I know, and it feels fake. It feels fake.
It's not fake.
You know what? And those are my only main 2 gripes when it comes to the show.
Only those 2 extensive gripes.
Yeah.
We're talking now for the gusto of 15 minutes, and most of it was your complaints.
Yeah, the 2 complaints, and I admitted that the second one, I did have a problem with it, but then they didn't continue with it, so I don't continuously have a problem with it. But otherwise, yeah, good show.
What do you mean otherwise good show?
Otherwise good show.
It's a fucking great show.
I think a lot of people talk about it in that it's much more comedic, and I don't agree with that. I think it's much more lighthearted. I don't find it to be comedic.
Yes, it is. It is lighthearted. Yes.
Yeah. There's also another gripe I have, and it goes back to my first point.
God damn it!
When Dunk is doing his big speech, and then your man stands up and then farts.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
I thought you already mentioned that.
No, I didn't mention that in this episode. I have mentioned it to you.
Pretty sure you mentioned it.
No, not on air. I talked to you about it off air.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you mentioned it here by someone standing up and farting, and then they played the. You think you're going to play the Game of Thrones music, and no, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I know you don't like it.
I just don't find the crass humor of it funny.
Yeah, that's okay.
I would be more than happy to not have it in any of the other seasons.
You are entitled to your opinion.
But I found as though like there are some good funny moments and stuff like that, but I find it just to be more lighthearted than it is comedic. You know,
this show is so lighthearted. If a character dies in it, it kind of feels strange. Like it's a person dying in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is the worst thing that could happen. It's a person dying in this show means we, the audience, are reluctant to witness it, because we don't want that in this light-hearted show. There can be fights and scraps and a bit of tension, but a death for a Game of Thrones show, a death is a serious thing to take away from.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you, especially with the death that we had. I feel as though the death that we had is almost nearly glossed over, when in actual fact it's one of the biggest things to happen in the Game of Thrones universe.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from, because the quick cutaway to a somewhat silly, a serious conversation between Dunk and Lionel Baratheon, which Lionel, as his character, lends himself to, laughing it off as he walks away, knowing he's going off.
But even the fact that the
then,
previous episode ends, and then it's nearly like just glossed over within the next one. There's no big fallout to it, and even the character's funeral felt tiny.
Yeah, okay.
Compared, especially with his status.
I understand your disapproval of that. So I'll try and meet you halfway, and I understand you. But the reason I'm okay with it is because of the little tagline the poster has of this show: "A journey far away from the throne." This is a story about the small folk. Where it's not from the royalty perspective. It's not from the most powerful leaders of Westeros. It's from this one random guy. And
One hedge knight, yeah.
The hedge knight. Of course he has a destiny. Of course he's got 4 pages in the Kingsguard history. Quite a lot for a knight. But for a nobody in this time, I think it's so interesting. And I'm okay that the Targaryens, the most prestige family, are downgraded to nothing more than mere glorified celebrities.
Yeah.
Like the Targaryens in this show are the descendants of gods. I saw a great post today. It's like, to the Targaryens in the show, a father will be telling his son, "Boy, we were billionaires. Your ancestors had all the money in the world.
Now look at us.
You know, we rode dragons.
Yeah.
We were the closest things to gods. Here's your horse."
Yeah.
Think about that. Now think about all the stories of what you were, of what your family was, of what your lineage was. So you're gonna hearken on that, like, we were this, we are this.
Yeah.
Even though you don't have anything to back yourself on.
Yeah.
You know, like,
The dragons are dead.
The Targaryens in this show are closer to Viserys Targaryen in Game of Thrones season 1.
Daenerys' brother.
Daenerys' brother.
I think
I'm proud of this statement. The barrier between the Targaryens in House of the Dragon to the rest of Westeros has significantly diminished to a mere line in the sand.
Yeah. I think the way that you described it there, and you said it a couple of weeks ago as well when we were watching this, was that the Targaryens are more celebrities than they are the royal family. And I really felt that this time around. Like, there's some instances where characters are speaking to Targaryens, and I'm like, if you were speaking to Daemon Targaryen like this, you would be dead. Like, and it's not like they're being disrespectful. It's just that they're too familiar, almost, it feels like. And it doesn't feel as though the Targaryens, they are still in the seat of power, but they're not as powerful anymore. It's almost like they're kind of on.
Do you know what it is?
They're on thin ice, and it's like they know.
Well,
if there was a rebellion, we might actually not survive it.
Yeah, because there's no fucking dragons to back them up.
Yeah.
Another comparison, we talked about how in Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord Beckett was trying to make the world more civilized. That's what the Targaryens are here now. There's no more lawlessness where the Targaryens can do whatever they want and
get away with it, yeah.
Whereas now, everything is becoming more modern. The world's getting smaller.
Which is very funny to think about when you think about that. This is still 100 years before Game of Thrones, which is not modern at all.
I know.
But for the world that it is a more modern Westeros than House of the Dragon.
Yeah, but imagine what our laws and society is today in our world
Versus 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine the difference. How easy it was to do things and get away with them. How different things were.
Yeah.
Whereas now, the fact that in Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the Targaryens, they're not cutting off Dunk's hand because he was eavesdropping in the next room. Mm-hmm. There's laws they are abiding to.
Yeah, they are subject to the laws as well as the small folk. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a perfect sweet spot to place between Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. To also establish 100 years between them.
Yeah.
And
it's a good way to look at it, that House of the Dragon is like the Targaryens at the height of their power. Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones to be the Targaryens are no more. There's one Targaryen left. And this is the in-between of like, they're still in power. Yeah. They're not as powerful. Like, it is a good halfway point between these two dynasties.
But to continue freshen that power up, where we have a trilogy of the Targaryen lineage, the middle part is not about the Targaryens. And even though this story, this season 1, is focused in one location where the Targaryens visit said location,
I'd be happy to never see another Targaryen.
And it kind of feels like, that's the path this Night of the Seven Kingdoms show is going to go.
Yeah.
That we are not going to get the Targaryen family in additional seasons 2 and 3 and however many. It feels like this is a 3-season show, but if they can
I feel like it's a 3-season show too.
I feel there's 3 released novellas.
I wouldn't mind the next season to be we don't see any Targaryens, we don't see any Baratheons. Maybe we go to Castle Rock, maybe we see the Lannisters.
It's confirmed what they're doing.
Oh,
they're doing the second novella.
Okay, I don't know what.
They're going to also go to Dorne.
Okay, yeah, that's grand. I would actually rather these guys just spend a season at a location. But like the fact that we're at the tourney the whole time, that 100% plays into what you're saying there, that this is a smaller story. This is one, like, think about it, in Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, this tourney is half an episode. Whereas this is the full season.
It's a scene or a sequence.
Yeah, like there was the whole, in the first season of Game of Thrones, the tourney when Ned is named Hand of the King.
Yeah.
That's half an episode, you know? And then we're off again. Whereas this is the full season is all taking place from beginning to end at this tourney. And I don't mind it.
I think it's great. It's adding a different perspective. A tourney to a Targaryen or to a Lannister is
something to do with the weekend.
Yeah, whereas for someone like Dunk, it's life changing.
Yeah, it's make or break. Yeah, it's like, this is where I make a name for myself. Yeah,
and I think that further encompasses, if it even further captures the necessity for this show, because it shows something different in its entirety. And the fact that the Targaryens are the background characters.
Yeah.
I think that further captures that these guys, pathetic. But it's true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel as though anyone in the family was like a powerful Targaryen or anyone that you would be afraid of.
No. They are the results. They are the failure currently in motion, which leads them to their demise. Like look at Darren, a drunk, right? Nothing to him other than he's even a coward, but hey, at least he's nice. Arian, we've seen a few versions like him, and you're always going to get a few bad eggs. He's just a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
We don't get the third brother, Aemon.
It was Aemon at the funeral.
I don't think so. I doubt it.
Who was the one? That's the thing, is that that's one thing that I think is a negative, is that because the episodes are so short, there's sometimes where like we're speaking with characters and I don't know who they are. There was one character at the funeral who had brown hair, but he had like a streak of silver
at the back of his head.
Yeah, and he was the guy who died's son, because he does mention.
Baelor.
Yeah, but had we been introduced to him before?
Yeah.
I didn't feel it. I felt as though...
Yeah. He's Baelor's son. He was on horseback. Arian said something to him and he addressed him as cousin. He obviously did not have as much screen time to him. And honestly, right, I'm watching this show thinking we're introduced to the two brothers, one brother's 3 sons and the other brother's son, and the surrounding knights who work for them. So we're introducing to the present Targaryen royal family in power.
Yeah. But not the king.
No, not the king. And I'm watching the actions and events in this show as if it's going to continue. Like in season 2, we're going to see what Egg's father is doing and what his brothers are doing and what the king thinks of. Like, no, because this show's not about.
That's not that story.
No, this show, like, if you want to know what happens, read the books. We're lucky to be privileged screen time adaptation of these events because it's tied to Dunk and Egg. What's not tied to Dunk and Egg is their second book, where they go off on their own little solo adventure, a journey far away from the throne. It's so interesting to see these pivotal characters in the timeline of Game of Thrones. Yes, it's 300 years plus long, but the fact that we have kings, future kings, before they were kings, and their stories, and we follow them before their pivotal moments in the prime actions, the prime story of Westeros.
Yeah,
is so interesting. It shows how vast the selection of characters you have. The fact that you introduce a character like Baelor Targaryen, the future king. What was his character like? What was he doing? What greatness has he done before this show? Surely there's something to do with that. I heard there was this Blackfire rebellion. I'm not familiar with that.
Neither am I. And I read House of the Dragon, and it doesn't deal with it. I think that it's something that happens between House of the Dragon and... Sorry, I read Fire and Blood, which is what the House of the Dragon series is based on.
But I'm willing to bet there are so many characters, rich characters, that you could introduce, and all of a sudden they feel like pivotal to the primary story of Game of Thrones.
Well, I think what Night of the Seven Kingdom does so well is the fact that it has to be a show that takes place after the other series that's currently running that most people don't know the outcome of.
Like me.
Yeah, so like it has to do something really, really... It has to walk on eggshells where it has to provide you with a story without answering the questions of the previous series.
It can't tell you who wins the Targaryen civil war in House of the Dragon.
No.
It can't reveal who are the victors. It can't reveal
the descendants of where's Egg coming from.
Yeah, I don't know who Egg's grandfather is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know. I can't know because
it'll influence the outcome of that. I know.
You know, okay, well,
of course I know.
Yeah, well, don't tell me.
I won't. No, don't worry. I won't, because I know how. I know that even with the fact that you know that they reveal the answer in Game of Thrones, that you haven't gone back to rewatch Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm also choosing not to remember.
Yeah,
I do know, but I'm also choosing not to. I'm just completely avoiding it and shutting it out, and I'm also optimistic that they'll change it in the show.
Okay. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do.
So Peter Claffey.
Now, tell me this.
Yeah.
Who does Peter Claffey play? Dunk, I assume.
Sir Duncan the Tall.
Duncan the Tall. It was very strange to have so many characters with Irish accents this time around.
Yeah, well, it's filmed in Ireland. They got a lot of Irish actors in it.
Yeah, but this time around felt more Irish than anything else. Which I think it suits the fact that it's kind of like...
You got a beef with Irish there, buddy?
No. The Irish are fine. I like the Irish. They're all right. I think that it kind of makes sense that you would have, like... It's almost like a regional accent, but it's not a regional accent. It's nearly like these are small folk. So they speak like an Irish accent, whereas then the lords speak like a more English accent, you know?
Did you not see Titanic? Or...
Yeah, that's actually...
Or did you not read... history?
Well, it's a fantasy world. You can't apply history to fantasy.
Oh yeah, but sure, the English are always standing above the Irish.
Yeah, no, it was just strange. I think that Dunk. I like Dunk. He's good.
What do you think of Peter Claffey though?
He plays Dunk.
Yeah,
he's good.
You don't think he was a good actor?
I do think he was a good actor. I literally just said he was good.
You're answering my questions in quick, short snippet answers.
Well, I can stretch it out longer if you want.
Please.
He was good.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Like, to be honest with you, okay? While I liked all of the characters and I liked all of the actors, I didn't feel as though anyone stood out particularly.
Really?
The only person that stood out to me was Lionel Baratheon.
Daniel Iggs.
Yeah, but I couldn't have told you any of the actors' names, anything like that. But the only reason that he stood out to me was because he appears to be kind of different than all of the previous Baratheons. Now, all of the previous Baratheons that we've experienced are really Robert, Stannis, and Renly.
I thought the one Baratheon at the end of first season of House of the Dragon, that
Can't even tell you his name.
I don't remember his name either.
Oh, the one that is, yeah, the one's at Storm's End.
Yeah.
But yeah, add him into the mix.
Yeah.
And Lionel Baratheon doesn't feel like any of them. The closest one he seems to is like a way more exaggerated Renly.
I think Lionel Baratheon is a perfect capture of what a Baratheon is. And you know what? And you know what? He further surprises me.
I think he is like, is he the heir to Storm's End?
I have no idea.
See, he gives off the vibe of someone that's a highborn that will never inherit anything. Mm-hmm. So they can just do what they want. He can be a knight and he can just go to tourneys and he can whore and drink and feast and dance all he wants.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, where's he going after this tourney? Oh, I'm going to head to the next one. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just what he does. So there's no responsibilities that he has to get back to or anything like that.
Look, I won't deny that this particular portrayal of a Baratheon may not exactly fit tonally with House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones.
But that doesn't... I don't think that matters at all, because it's like, what does anyone tone? Like, the tone of some characters in Game of Thrones don't fit other characters in Game of Thrones. There's no particular tone. Like, everyone is different. You know, that kind of way?
Okay, good. That's an argument now I don't need to have with you.
That's okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
what did you want to say about Dunk's actor? You obviously think that you obviously have something to say.
I thought he was a great job. Like, the show stands on his shoulders pretty much. Mm-hmm. I thought he was great. Look, they got someone with the height, but like he's a hulking brute, and I really thought he did a good job. Like, when you think of House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, like they're really heavy in their ensembles. Mm-hmm. I know this is a smaller scale show with less episodes and short runtime, mm-hmm. and of course there's other actors on screen. It really does feel like Dunk is there every minute.
You know what I think the show does really well? And it's the characterization of Dunk, is that even though he is the main character, mm-hmm. he's not the lead. It's kind of a strange thing to say, but he's the main character, but he's not leading the story. I feel as though he's never a leader, and he's always just like a participant in the story, you know? But
the story's generated around him.
Yeah, but even so, I feel like he's just kind of going along with everything. And that's even in the flashback episode with his previous friend, and like following along with the knight in that episode. But it just feels as though like a lot of the story is like he's just kind of going along. It's like, okay, what's the next thing I need to do? What's the next thing I need to do? Okay, I need to do this. Okay, I need to do this. As opposed to like him driving that forward and like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. He's like, oh, I need to do this, or this is the next thing that I should do. You know,
I see where you're coming from.
Like, I think I think that I don't mean that as a criticism. Mm-hmm. I mean it actually as a good thing, that he is this hulking man, and he in any other story is the hero of the piece.
Oh yeah,
and he's the big strong knight. But yeah, here he is. He's more of a follower than a leader.
Do you remember that scene where Joffrey reads Sir Duncan the Tall?
He reads the page from the Kingsguard. Yeah,
and Jamie's there. He said, he was quite the knight. Mm-hmm. All right. To us, when we're watching that, we're thinking Sir Duncan the Tall, one of the greatest knights ever. The perfect embodiment of what a knight to this Kingsguard should be.
They named the Kingsguard after him, kind of thing. Yeah, like he is.
And here we are seeing this bumbling buffoon.
Yeah,
it's
doesn't know. And like, even in the last episode, your man says, oh, you'll go to... Can't think of the name of it. Oh, where is it that he says he's going to? And you'll complete your training with the Masters of Arms. Like, he acknowledges the fact that, oh yeah, you're a knight, but you're not fully a knight yet. Yeah. Like, as in, you have some training to do still.
Yeah. We've a lot of work to do to get to where Dunk needs to be, where we all know Sir Duncan the Tall.
Where he ends up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, back to the whole part where this show is not about the primary tale of Westeros, which is told in King's Landing, where Dunk does end up serving.
Yeah.
This show could end with just these 3 novellas and end very early on in Dunk's life.
That's fine. I like, to be honest with you, I don't need to see him as a Kingsguard by the end of the show. Like, I know that's where he ends up. I don't need to see that. I think that the showrunner Ira Parker said something like they wanted to do 5 seasons and then come back and do 5 seasons in 10 years' time, and then come back and do 5 seasons 10 years on from that. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't need to see that. I don't think anyone has the attention span for that. Like, I think that's a pie in the sky kind of thing. Where,
do you know what I do think is fascinating? You could do it.
You could do it, yeah, but I don't think the audience would be there for it. I think you're setting yourself up for failure to think that you can do that. I think set yourself a satisfying 3 seasons, get those done, and then we'll see.
But you know what? This show, unlike House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, where we are, I know plot is generated by the characters' actions, but those 2 shows are plot heavy. This Night of 7 Kingdoms is character heavy, character driven, and I feel like this show lends itself quite well that we can follow the events generated by these characters and see their journey through their years, and we can see them growing up and aging up, and we can see I'm not saying this is a season a year. I'm saying do your 3 seasons. Maybe 3 years pass.
Oh, you have an idea for another story? Yeah, do another season.
Yeah,
you can do it nearly as almost like an anthology,
or like how Black Mirror does their shows. You know, like a new idea. Great, let's do it.
Yeah,
like an anthology. But if you've got a good story, great. Maybe you generate a new story, or just a new limited series, and Dunk is one of the characters there.
Well, when I say anthology, I mean more so in that there's no overarching plot over all of the seasons of the show. No. It's just, we actually thought of a great story that Dunk and Egg
are the characters
are a part of. So here it is.
Well, that's what I expect season 2 to be.
Yeah.
I expect season 2 to be completely that, where
no reference to season 1. Just,
well, they can reference it that it happened, but like these are the characters. But like like I said, I don't expect the Targaryen family to be in it. I don't expect Lionel Baratheon to be in it. I expect it to just be these 2 characters and their 2 horses, and they're on their way to the next thing. Maybe season 3, where they adapt the 3rd book, maybe they can reintroduce some of the characters back into the fold and reintroduce the Targaryen family, and maybe bring some closure to certain open-ended events, because I guess based on that witch's foresight of Egg on the throne, people gotta die for that to happen.
Yeah, because he's not the heir.
He's not the heir. He's not in line. He's not in lineage. So I think the content is there, ready for the taking to adapt into a show.
Yeah.
And if that's going to be in season 3, so be it. If that's going to be a later show down the line, so be it. But I think the show can also be great to cast a wide net of various events of Westeros from these 2 guys' perspective.
Yeah.
There's, because it's character heavy, because it's from these guys' characters' perspective, they are living through some of the most pivotal moments that connects House of the Dragon to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like, I don't know if maybe some people don't realize, probably a lot of people do realize, Egg is the brother of Maester Aemon, who is the Maester at the Wall where Jon Snow is.
Yeah.
He refers to him as Egg, and like they're brothers. So it's like the character that we are seeing here has a direct connection to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which is like, it feels like these 2 things are so far apart, but yet here they are. Like, I think I'm almost certain that Maester Aemon is offered the throne
and
before Egg, and he denies it because he's taken the Black.
Yeah.
Or he's a Maester of the Citadel. So like, that's like, there has to be a lot of people that are gone through before it gets to Egg, and it's like, okay, what are the circumstances in which Egg is the one that is on the throne?
And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do want to see that. I do want to see Dunk and Egg's journey from their time
The humble beginnings to
to
King of Westeros.
yeah. I would like to see that on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And if that takes a long time to do it, so be it. If they want to do it, great.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to do it, okay, it's not necessary. Game of Thrones was necessary to finish the show. House of the Dragon is necessary to finish its overarching.
Yeah, because they're
show.
plot driven and this is
Yeah.
character driven. Yeah.
You can drip in and out with these guys as much or as little as you want.
You could go back in time. You could do season 1, season 2, and then season 3 actually takes place between 1 and 2. I know obviously
Yeah.
the characters age up a little bit,
Yeah.
and obviously Egg is a little bit, because he's a kid, he'll age pretty quick.
Yeah.
But absolutely do that. You could, like, that's the beauty of it, is because it's character driven. Oh no, we actually have a story that takes place before.
Yeah, I don't.
This season.
That could happen. I don't think that would happen.
Oh no, it probably wouldn't. But I'm saying it's possible
Mm.
because of the nature of the storytelling. You can do that.
Yeah,
There's no way to go, oh no, you can't do that, because you perfectly can.
this. See the way when we have our Star Wars movies, episodes 1 to 9, and then we have like 2 spin-offs, Rogue One and Solo.
Yep.
Well, this Night of Seven Kingdoms feels like a spin-off from House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, because those shows are about the throne. This show's not. And I think
Both of the shows fall under the Game of Thrones, people trying to become the king or
Yeah.
whatever, whereas this is not that at all.
no. And I think that strengthens it a little. And I think that it gives itself a bit of advantage because
Yeah, it's a bit of breath of fresh air.
it is a breath of fresh air. But like I said, that these guys are so free and flexible to do their own thing, to tell their own stories. They can still witness from afar the events that we, the fans, would like to see on screen.
Yeah.
And
Do you know who they kind of remind me of?
Who?
They're like Timon and Pumbaa in The Lion King. Like
That is a great comparison.
they're like adjacent to the story.
Yeah, that is a fantastic comparison. TikTok that shit. But yeah, Sir Duncan the Tall, great actor. I thought Dexter Ansel Soul was a great casting for Egg, and I just love their companionship. I love their relationship.
Yeah.
Like Egg is such a cute little tiny thing standing next to Dunk, and I just love the relationship. I love seeing the two of them under the tree. I like that Egg is so serviceable and has a real desire to serve Dunk as a squire, and Dunk can be his soft and caring and yet still firm and stern with him.
Feel like sometimes when he's firm and stern, it's kind of like he's not like that at all. It's just because that's how Penny Tree treated him. So he's like, oh, it's what I learned.
Yeah.
And so I have to be like this.
Yeah, but he'll never lay a hand on him.
No.
He'll never.
No. He'll threaten him, all right, but he wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like even something like as simple as when they're lying under the tree and Egg is talking about like the shooting star, and he's like, oh, the luck will be with us. And then he's like, go to sleep. And then like it's a couple of seconds of like silence, and he's like, does it actually mean that they'll be with us? Like there is a softness to him. There's an innocence to him that he's like, he does like the fact of what Egg is saying, you know, like he doesn't like to be the stern one. He does want to treat this kid with a bit of kindness.
Yeah.
The kindness that he was never afforded, I suppose.
Do you know what I really liked as well? That I really appreciate the small folkness of this.
Tell me, please. When
When they go into town to get breakfast, Dunk goes to. He's trying to tell the shopkeep. I don't know what the appropriate name, but the shopkeep
the
saying,
merchant,
no,
yeah.
Don't chop off the head. I want the egg. And then egg comes with a loaf of bread, and then you see the two of them back up in their tree. They have a little pots of pan and a little fire. They have an egg, and then they throw a bit of meat on it, and then they break the bread in half, and they both have their like fulfilling breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, that they worked for. They earned this.
Yeah, and I just like that. It's a little bit of Lord of the Rings in that matter when it comes to the hobbits having their little breakfast and second breakfast. I really like that part. Like, it makes me appreciate seeing these characters I'm following have their meals, and never has a Game of Thrones show made me feel like that.
Do you know, it's like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon are much more political fantasy, whereas A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is medieval fantasy. And I felt that a lot with scenes like that, or like him going to the puppet show and him getting your one to paint the the new sigil on his shield.
Yeah.
And then like the jousting and the actual tourney itself. I want to see more of this. I want to see the medieval part of it.
This is the kind of thing you'd expect in like a Dungeons and Dragons game or a Dragon Age game.
It reminded me of like a Knight's Tale as well, like that whole medieval part of it. But that was something as well I wanted to bring up was the kind of the designs. There was a couple of like characters' armors that I was like, this is just cool fantasy stuff. Like Lionel Baratheon, like the antlers on his head, completely impractical. But if you think of a Baratheon going into battle, you're going to think of a stag's head like that. You're going to think of the antlers. And then the Targaryen, the one that had like it was like a skull mask with like the wavy flame on its head. I was like, this is just a really
this
cool,
the closest thing he's ever gonna feel like
to being the dragon. Yeah. And then even the Kingsguard, it's such an interesting detail to have the Kingsguard there all in white. And if you compare that to Game of Thrones have all the Kingsguard in gold. And where does that influence come from with the gold?
Lannisters.
Yeah, the Lannisters and Tywin Lannister and him getting his claws within the Baratheon / Lannister dynasty, even before he becomes a central part in season 2. Like that's there from when Robert Baratheon is king. And so seeing the Kingsguard as they should have been in this like all white, this kind of like this pure knight of the realm kind of garb, I just thought it was really, really cool to see, like just something different, like these different eras of Westeros.
The attention to detail really stands out when you go looking for it. It's nice to see that they put the work in there for such a small scale show that is inconsequential to the wider tale of A Song of Ice and Fire. Like the White Walkers, who the fuck cares?
Oh yeah. Do you know what, actually,
this has nothing to do with the supernatural.
I forgot
or the magical.
I forgot there were White Walkers until you said that right there. I forgot that that's an aspect, because the White Walkers are so far removed from where we are now in the Game of Thrones universe, with that being House of the Dragon and A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah.
The White Walkers are not something I thought about at all for either A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms or even for House of the Dragon. It's so far removed.
Is that a praise I hear?
Yeah, like it's what is it a praise of? Because it's not a praise specifically of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's not a praise specifically of House of the Dragon, but it's a praise, I think, of both of them, is that the restraint of the writers, that these stories aren't about that, so we're not even going to reference them. Like the only reference really to White Walkers is the blade in House of the Dragon. The blade that was Aegon's blade, and it talked of Azor Ahai and like the prince that was promised. Yeah. And that the whole secret of that the White Walkers are going to come. Yeah. So that's the only reference to it really, but otherwise it's its own. Both of them are their own stories.
Before we return to Dunk and Egg, I do want to talk about some of the other characters that were there in and out. First of all, back to some of the comedic editing. Niji.
I kind of missed Niji. I liked Niji. I wanted a bit more of him.
Yeah, he was a good character. I'm glad that he wasn't concluded to be a slimy, scheming gut. Like, he had a bit of honesty in him. But I did really like I cared not for all the spitting that he forced from the back of his throat and added a bit of snot. But there was this one perfect editing part where he visits Dunk and Egg from afar at the bottom of the hill. He says, I need a word with you. And then he grunts, gets a spit ready, turns his head to the right, and before he spits, it's a cut to the next scene with Dunk with him and
him completing the spit there.
I thought that was fucking perfect editing for that. I thought the joke worked really well. I don't think it should take away from the fantasy reality, and it should not remind you that you're watching something. But it was so seamlessly timed. I thought out of all the editing that was done, I thought that was the best one.
Okay.
I did like his character. Shame that they have casted him in this and shame.
I'm gonna correct you on it every time you say it until you stop saying casted, because casted is not a word.
Okay,
go ahead. It's a shame that they cast him.
Shame that they cast him in this show, because we're less likely to ever see him again.
Yeah, it's a good criticism to have. I want to see more of this person.
Yeah, I do like Tom Vaughan Lawler.
And it's a shame that once the trial aspect of the whole series started, he was no longer there.
No, there was no scene for. I would have liked one more scene with him, like where he'd actually give a bit of praise to Sir Duncan.
It kind of reminded me of because there's this whole story about him like wanting Sir Duncan to challenge someone else, and he's gonna like rig it so that he wins.
Yeah,
and that whole thing is going on, and then once the trial starts, that whole thing is like, it's no longer a part of the story.
Definitely.
And it kind of reminded me of, do you remember when Marjorie was on trial and she had like slipped a note to her grandmother to let her know, like, oh, I have a plan.
Yeah.
Something's going on. But that never gets resolved because Cersei blows up the Sept of Baelor. And it's like, oh, I wonder what her plan was. Like, I wonder where that storyline would have gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't feel as though it's a loose thread. It's more like oh yeah, this was Marjorie's plan, but it was cut short because of Cersei's actions. And the same here, where, oh, I wonder how the tourney would have gone had this trial not have had to happen.
I suppose, but the same. The answer is the same in that this is the course the story takes us. Like, I noticed that as well. For like the 3 episodes, it was about Dunk trying to get someone to
enter the tourney,
to vouch for him, to enter us, to play. I thought that's where we were going. That the most action we were going to get was the tourney itself.
Yeah.
Not an actual trial of 7. Not an actual battle. I didn't think this was the path we were going to go. I thought it was such a forceful turn into what Dunk was trying to do, which is an honest attempt to get some approval and to maybe be recruited to get a job, you know, a bit of financial security.
Yeah.
To actually fight for his life. And he walks away without either. Except he does get Egg. But yeah, other characters. One whose name is slipped me, who paints the new design.
I couldn't tell you her name.
Couldn't tell you her name either. So we're probably never going to see her again. But I liked her, the role.
She's the catalyst for the trial. She's about to be attacked, and Dunk, and that's the other thing, is that Dunk comes in and he absolutely just starts kicking the shit out of Kingsguard and Arian, and it's like, again, you would not do that in the time period of House of the Dragon.
Oh no,
he just about gets away with it without being killed then and there, in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But you would not have gotten away with that. Yeah,
shame. It was, like, she had a good reason that she left after that, but I suppose the expected thing is that we would see her after the trial, and she's the closest thing for Dunk to have a love interest, and it was just, it wasn't open ended. It was just removed in favor of focusing the story between Dunk and Egg, which is what we want. I don't know. I guess a little extra wouldn't be too much to ask.
Yeah. I mean, I think the complaint with both of those characters, with Tom Vaughan Lawler and her, is that if the story were allowed to play out how it should have played out, we would have gotten more of them. But specifically, the story changes.
Yeah. What did you make of the I forget the guy's name, but he's like Dunk's friend who helps him out.
The Apple guy.
Yeah.
He reminded me a lot of Pod. I think he's actually...
The galaxy, the solar system is saying the same thing.
I think that Pod is actually a descendant of him.
Is he?
I think so.
He is the spitting image of him.
And I think they wanted to do that. I think that they...
I like that guy, and I'm a little surprised that he survived. I thought he was...
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was ripe for getting killed.
The fact that the trial only ended in one character's death is mad. Considering it was 14
like I said,
people fighting.
The one person dying is sufficient enough for the show.
And it's not even... It's such a crazy death because it's not in the battle. And the thing is that I knew that character was going to die. So... when the battle was over, when Arian yielded, and they were all away, I was like, how is he going to die? Like, I knew he was going to die. I knew he was going to die in this episode. So I was shocked when it happened. And it is it's a gruesome death.
But it's also a great scene as well.
Yeah.
Because he dies after you're convinced that he survived.
Oh yeah, because
you're welcomed into the net of safety. You're like, cool.
I'm more worried for Dunk than I am for him, because like that's one thing I think I've really liked about the medieval aspect of it, is that in battles like this, it's not just a quick, clean kill. A lot of these battles are poking and I'm going to cut you here and you're going to bleed out, and it's just like hacking away at people.
And down into the mud and everything.
And the dirt and the shit and everything.
Love that. I can't remember ever getting that in Game of Thrones unless it was done specifically for... It felt more natural for it to get as dirty and gritty and bloody and vicious in this scene than it did in the Battle of the Bastards with Jon Snow. With the Jon Snow one, everything felt... And I'm not shitting on that. It's one of the greatest battle executions ever. I'm saying that felt like it was preordained.
Yeah, it was choreographed, whereas this one is...
Editing room, but this battle, even though of course it's choreographed,
it's much less so.
It feels just a little bit more authentic because there's a lot of throwing around and pushing, and swinging a sword and missing, in a wide shot, and characters still going through their blocking. It's very well done. I really liked it. But all the stab wounds Duncan sustained.
Yeah, you're like how is he...
Both legs, a fucking piece of wood in his gut.
Oh, immediately, he starts the fight like that.
Yeah, and he still carries himself. His eye is completely busted. The knife goes through his hand. He's
in a bad way.
This is as gruesome as... I don't know how much you remember the fight between the Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy in The Revenant, but reminded me of that.
Okay, I have to rewatch it. You know what? Maybe I will.
Maybe you will.
Maybe.
But I thought it was very good. I do want to talk... but the Apple guy.
Sorry, before we get back to the Apple guy, the actual death of the... what was his name?
Baelor.
Yeah, that he takes off his armor and his armor was holding a wound
in place.
And you know what? That was actually one thing that I was a bit confused by, was how that happened, because I didn't feel like I saw it in the battle.
I think there was a quick shot where you saw Makar
hit him with the thing. But the battle is so focused on Dunk.
Yeah,
that all of the rest of it that's going on, that's all background stuff.
It's all secondary. And I was a little disappointed in that. I was going into this thinking it was going to be a wider battle. And while I do appreciate the fact that it's Duncan and every other person in that battle it's not just secondary and in the background. It's also mid motion. Any other person we see in that battle, we don't see them starting a fight or at the end of it.
It's in the middle.
In the middle, it's in motion. We see characters in the background. If we cut away to them, they're mid swinging their weapon.
Yeah.
In whoever they're fighting against. I appreciate that the one opportunity moment to capture these actions between the characters that are fighting, because that's what's going to happen to you if you are fighting in this. You can only focus on yourself. Dunk's focusing on himself, and if someone so happens to save him from someone else, great, because I feel like someone does do that from time to time. Someone helps him out, and then that someone carries on doing whatever they're doing because it's just the middle of a battle. So it was a great battle. I had a little bit of a high expectation, but that's okay.
And so he takes off the helmet, and essentially the injury that he has sustained is like the helmet was keeping it pressurized or localized. So as soon as it's exposed, it's like, oh yeah, there's no coming back from it.
That's crazy, isn't
dead.
It? That's fucking gone. Crazy, yeah.
Like he lost half of his head, the back of his head gone.
Yeah, it was spoiled for me.
Was it?
Yeah. Nothing to be done. No, I can do to avoid it. But
yeah, you were away, so you didn't get to watch it until
a week
late.
Yeah, so I would have caught me off guard. But yeah, all the best nice characters who could have changed the world, yeah, they all just died.
And George R. R. Martin has come out and said that is one of the biggest events of Westeros.
His death. Because
it changed the course of history.
Yeah. Because I don't know who's king next.
Me neither. But I just know that that's what George R. R. Martin has said. Because essentially it would have gone through his line. But I mean, Egg is his nephew. So it's going through the brother's line instead.
But his son, Vagar, should be next. The one with the black hair with the streak of grey hair who says, "Begone, Sir Duncan." He's next in line. He should be.
I don't know if it works like that. If I'm the king and I have a son and I have a second son, but then my first son has a son. It does, and then the first son dies before he becomes king. It goes to my second son before it would skip him and go to.
Okay.
I think
So
I could be
Maekar
wrong.
then it should be next in line.
I think so, yeah.
Um,
But that's what they say. Yeah, in the last episode, he says like, people are going to question it and think that I did it on purpose
Right.
because I'm going to be the king now.
well, that's probably accurate in the books, so to add a little bit of flavor to say like, no, I didn't mean to kill my brother.
Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy? I might have mentioned this already, but like Baelor Targaryen, who was he before this? We are introduced into him in this one moment of his life. Mm-hmm. It just so happens to be the moment where he dies. Mm-hmm. Who is he? What was he before this? What major pivotal event did he get himself involved into?
He's not a
Westeros?
young man. He's in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, but like he is a key piece to the prime story of A Song of Ice and Fire, which is the throne in King's Landing. Mm-hmm. It's just funny to see. Look, I know he said it already. He's in the background. He's not the foreground character. It's not necessary. The show's not about him. But it's just interesting to see a character like him, who in another show
He could be the lead. Yeah.
or like he's the Ned Stark of his own prime show. You know, it's just crazy. Like it's so rich and full of characters. It was very likable.
I feel like Game of Thrones to you is what Lord of the Rings is to me. I feel as though those are they're individual fantasy series.
Really?
Yeah, like as in, I know you really like Lord of the Rings, and I really like Game of Thrones, but I think that we're opposite in which we like more.
I don't know.
Like I feel like Lord of the Rings is super rich, and I always want more of it.
Oh, I suppose.
Whereas
so.
that's how you are with Game of Thrones. Like, to be honest with you, I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm a little bit indifferent when it comes to Game of Thrones. I think I'm just not as interested anymore in it.
Okay.
And that's not to say against the quality of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I think it's just, like even with the House of the Dragon trailer came out, I'm not as interested in it as you are. Like, you're really excited for House of the Dragon.
Because I'm expecting shit after fucking every episode. I'm expecting major events, and if I don't, then I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I think
I'm expecting 6 major pivotal moments to happen over the course of the 8 episodes. But
I don't know why. I rewatched Game of Thrones last year, and I enjoyed it. And we did that whole episode where we talked about the last season and what we would do differently and stuff like that. And like, it was fun, and I did enjoy it.
yeah,
But I don't know. I just feel as though, I don't know, like maybe the fact that House of the Dragon is coming out later this year, I've had my Game of Thrones fix.
you never know. You maybe
I might turn around on it. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I might. You never know. It's just what I do have to appreciate with this show is that the episodes weren't too long. Like, it didn't outstay its welcome.
And you know what? I like that they were shorter as well. I did like that.
Because it's a smaller scale show, I didn't need 6 hours
Yeah,
total. Like, I think over the course of the whole show, it's 3 hours, 3.5 hours, maybe.
I'd say 4.
That's perfect. That's fine. Like, I'm satisfied with the story that it told.
Yeah.
And the length of it.
Did you like? What did you make of Maekar and his sons?
I don't have much to say on them because of the fact that I felt as though I didn't spend enough time with them. I know I did just compliment the fact that it was a shorter length show, but there was too many of them and not enough introduction that I was like, okay, who are you and how are you related to anyone?
I was a little iffy on that until it was made more clear. I appreciated that Maekar at the end was asking for Dunk to take on Egg, his youngest son, to be a squire. And like, this guy was telling Dunk to fuck off, and he'd nearly kill him because he's a little prick, and he's willing to kill Dunk because his little shit of a son was getting up to his antics, and he's like trying to better himself. It kind of shows the diversity and some goodness in Maekar, and the actor normally plays a lot of villains.
What else is he a villain in?
Plays a shithead in Defiance. He's a hitman
seen
in
it.
Fargo.
Not seen it.
He's always playing like vile villains.
Okay.
And I'm surprised to see him in a role like this. Like he appears to be vile,
Mm-hmm.
but like that moment where Egg goes into Aaron's room and he has the knife and
Yeah, that's a crazy scene. Yeah.
and his father's just sitting there staring him back, and Egg just drops the knife and cries, and his father goes over to comfort him.
It's almost like I know.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in trouble for this. I don't blame you for this. Like your brother is the cause of why Dunk nearly died and why your uncle, my brother, did die.
Yeah.
Like the blame, Magor is squarely putting the blame on his son, even though he's the one that swung the mace. It's like, we wouldn't have been in the situation, and he yielded anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know? So it's like, so the only person that came out negatively in this is Baylor.
Yeah. I do like also that he kind of would treat Egg like, where the fuck is Egg? Like, giving out shit to him. You know, especially when Egg and Daron went on the road and they went missing to hide away. And, like, he would... As soon as he found his sons, he'd start giving them the back of his hand and, like, abusing them, trying to keep them in line. But I do also think that he has love for them. Daron, I thought was interesting enough. Like, he was introduced as the drunk, and like he's a coward, but you see that Egg really likes him. Like, Egg, I don't know anything about him. Do you?
No, that's the thing. I haven't read the novellas,
right.
and the Fire and Blood doesn't go that far after the events of House of the Dragon, like the events of the Civil War.
Right, okay. I just think it's interesting. It's a bit, why do you have all these sons if you're not going to do too much with them? Like, I'd like to see where you could go with them. Aaron's a little shithead. He'll have to die at some point.
Darren is, he's the what's your man's name, the guy with the one eye in House of the Dragon, what's his name? Aemond, and he's the Viserys of Daenerys' brother. You know, he's like, there's always that one kind of shithead Targaryen.
Yeah.
And this guy, when he turns up and he's got the short hair, and he's like kind of looking, and he's like picking his teeth with his tongue and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, you think you're a bad boy, but it's like, but like you couldn't hold a candle next to Daemon Targaryen. You wouldn't hold a candle next to Aemond Targaryen. Yeah. It's like, you've heard of all these stories, and it's, you know what it is, it's like you were saying there earlier, where the dad is saying like, oh, we used to ride dragons, like we used to be the most fierce things, and he is walking around cock of the walk going like, yeah, we still are. And it's like, you're not, you're not quite, but he still thinks he's acting as though he's still that Billy Big Bollocks, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm Targaryen.
Yeah.
Do you know, like he puts his last name first.
It means nothing when lesser folk who's a giant to you is planting his fists in your face.
Oh yeah, as soon as the names come out of it,
yeah,
and it's just down to the fists,
yeah,
and this guy who you've stabbed and cut up and done absolute bits to, and guess what? He's still pummeling you.
Yeah,
and he's the good guy because he's saying
you're
yield.
Yeah, I really like Egg shouting to Dunk, get up. Like, it really captures that, like,
there's a love there to him. Or, and even Egg, when he takes the horse and like trains it for like, he's actually a good squire. Like, he's training and helping Dunk.
Yeah,
and even if Dunk doesn't realize it.
Why did Egg leave his brother and follow Dunk? Like,
he just wanted to be away from the Targaryens. Like, that's why he shaved his head.
Yeah, he got a little scared when his hair started to grow back.
Because he's reminded, like, even if I do shave this off, it's still under there. I'm still a Targaryen.
Yeah. Fair chops to the kid shaving his head. Oh man, overall, just great show. Loved it. Like that it will take a different path in the next season, and it will just follow these guys as they go through them. And I feel like this is George R. Martin's. This is where he feels best at home.
I think that
it feels like he's very much welcomed on set in working with the guys in this show.
George is a funny fish, isn't he? He has 2 books to do, and he just seems to be getting distracted. And I think he has the books done. He has Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring completed.
He's just not releasing them.
No, he's going to wait till he's dead.
Why?
Because I think that the ending, he can't handle the criticism of whatever the ending is going to be. I mean, realistically, he told D.B. Weiss and David Benioff what the ending was going to be, and they adapted it and they made it the show and everyone hated it. And then he went, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? They hate the ending. So he's like, oh no, I'm doing a different ending. Probably not. Either he has or he hasn't. And either way, I don't think he can handle the criticism of, like, it's been so built up now, he can't end it in a satisfying way. Or, like, the majority of people won't be satisfied.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a situation where it's like, well, if I'm dead, the books will release and I don't have to hear about it, you know? So I think that he is putting a lot of his time into other things where the expectations aren't so high. Something like Dunk and Egg, where it can just be a once-off adventure. It's not the end of the world. It's not the fate of Westeros in the hands of this hedge knight and this future king, you know? So I think that he's right at home. You're right. He's right at home in these small stories as opposed to the grand sweeping Game of Thrones.
Good theory.
It's just a theory.
One last thing before we close. Mm-hmm. The MPV of the show.
The what? MVP?
MVP.
Yeah. Let me think. I can't guess. I would give it to the Baratheon.
Baratheon, Lionel. Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would give it to Sir Arlen of Pennytree and his big fat Johnson.
You know what? Poor guy. If I was him, I would not have come out and said that was a prosec. I would have just that's me.
He's presented to be this abusive, foul-mouthed drunkard who died, who proclaimed to be a knight and probably wasn't. Mm-hmm. And yet we see him for the first time in the flashback.
He's saving
Dunk, probably not realizing he's saving him. And he takes out these two guys, struggles, but he takes them out. Mm-hmm. And Dunk follows him without him even realizing it for like however long, weeks. And then he sees Dunk collapse on the ground and he goes up to him and he says, "Get up." And that's his waking moment to rise up from the battle. Added a lot of, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it made me take the character more seriously. It didn't make the character to be this haunting figure lurking over Dunk's shadow, and Dunk is trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel of whatever good he might have been back in his day. And then at the end, he's perceived as like a guiding angel over Dunk's shoulder as he horse rides with them. And then he
got the Fast and Furious 7 ending.
Yeah, we had that, but like I thought that was very nice as well.
I did too. No, I'm only winding you up. Yeah, I know.
But Starline Pennytree, like even you told me this one bit where Dunk looks up before he's about to go into battle, and Starline looks down on him and he shrugs.
Yeah,
you had this interesting theory that
I was like, I wonder how, like, what is that message trying to convey? Is it that he never knighted him? Or is it a situation where he did knight him, but he didn't know the full oath, so he didn't fully knight him, and so Dunk doesn't feel as though he is a knight? Like, is it a literal thing where he shrugs his shoulders, and he shrugs his shoulders as like Dunk hesitates to knight your man, the other guy, and then as he walks away, he hears what the Baratheon is saying, but he doesn't hear it fully, and that's when we see the shrug. And is it like that was the only part that Pennytree knew? So it's like, is it a situation where Dunk is not a knight at all, or does he not feel like a knight because he wasn't properly knighted? And
it's revealed.
It doesn't quite reveal it.
It does.
No, it does reveal it.
Yeah. It does. Dunk says,
"Why did you never knight me?"
Yeah.
And they're at the tree at the beginning of the episode.
Where he dies,
yeah. So
and it looked like he did die, but then they undid that for a knight finishes his tale.
Yeah.
George R. Martin, pay attention. But I took that shrug as like Dunk got himself in this predicament as soon as he lost his master. But that shrug also kind of informs Dunk. That shrug that Sir Arlen makes to Dunk tells him, "I don't know what you're gonna do. What are you gonna do?" You know. I
was taking it more in relation to the oath, but you were taking it more to the situation that they found themselves in.
The situation more so, yeah.
Yeah.
It was very vicious as well with his friend who got her neck slit.
Oh yeah, I hate seeing kids in situations like that. And you know what? Normally I don't particularly like episodes of TV where we're promised one thing and then we get a flashback episode.
Oh yeah.
I hate that. But I actually quite liked it this time around. Like, it was fine because it was kind of nearly half and half.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like it was... we got the full flashback and then we went back to the battle. It wasn't like... It drives me even more bad when it's like, we're promised the battle and then it's flashback and then we come back to the battle for like 2 minutes and then back to the flashback and it's like one or the other. Come on, you know.
They committed to it.
Yeah. But and then even in the flashback, Dunk isn't he's just following her. He's not like the leader of his own story.
Yeah. What would have been if she didn't die? Like I felt her loss.
Yeah, especially with the fact that when they're down under the thing, and it's like, and she's like, "Oh, what is it? Because you love me?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I do actually." And she goes, "All right, good, because I love you too." And it's not like it actually is a romantic relationship.
Is it though, or is it brother and sister? Or
No,
is it just
I felt as
companion?
though it was
Love.
Yeah, like I felt as though they slept together that night.
I felt his loneliness when he returned home under the floorboards, and there was just this wide shot of him there and she wasn't there. I loved those non-dialogue visuals where they captured the loneliness when you had it all. So yeah, here man, great show overall. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I'm content with that. Have you any final thoughts?
No, I think that I enjoyed it, even though I did spend the first couple of minutes, complaining.
That's all right. I made up with that by dragging this out a little bit longer.
That's all right. And like I said, it was only just those two real complaints. Like otherwise, I didn't have very many complaints. But they were two things that from the get go annoyed me, and it was like anytime there was the toilet humor, I was like, "You're trying to make me not like you."
Yeah.
I'm trying to like you. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. Stop doing this.
Right. Look, they're on the path of making him to become the knight we all know him to be. Right, we've already initiated the journey where he's no longer the bubbling buffoon. So, looking forward to 2027.
Is it going to be one a year?
Yeah.
27. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's okay. Have you got any recommendations before we let these people go?
I'm going to recommend sleep.
Going to sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to recommend a bit of sleep.
Okay.
What are you going to recommend?
I'm going to recommend a movie called Wasteman.
Didn't see it, but
Yeah.
I see how you logged it.
Yeah. It's a fantastic performance. I went into it for David Johnson, and I'm so glad that I get to walk out of it with David Johnson and Tom Blythe both giving stellar performances.
Oh,
And
that was Tom Blythe.
yeah, and I didn't know that until I was watching it. I was like, oh, I had no idea this was you. But it's a great story of two lads in prison, and one of them is close to being released and the other one is not. And that's all I'll say about it. It's a fantastic film. It's a fantastic look into the life of people in prison. And it also just fully cements David Johnson as one of the best working actors today. And David Johnson alone, now that I've seen him in Rye Lane, Alien Romulus, Wasteman, and The Long Walk, David Johnson for me is a stamp of approval. If he's in it, I go, that must be good. That must be, even if the movie is bad, David Johnson will give a fantastic performance. Oscar inbound, maybe not for anything that he's in this year, maybe not for Wasteman, maybe not for Long Walk, well, he obviously wasn't nominated for those, but 100% we will see David Johnson winning an Oscar.
I'm going to also recommend watching Robert Armeo's BAFTA speech.
Yeah.
Because he won that award. So gratefully delighted for him.
Yeah.
For winning, I swear.
Yeah, because he's not nominated for the Oscar, but I'm glad that he gets some recognition for I Swear. Brian, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed, make sure that you're subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice. You can give us a little 5-star review. We really appreciate it. It costs you nothing. It gives us everything. If you haven't already, like I said, make sure you're subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice, and you can follow us on all of our social medias down below. We've new episodes every single Wednesday, and guess what? We have another podcast. It's Saturday Morning Cartoon Club. We've a new episode of that coming out this Saturday. It's going to be on Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to that separate feed, which is Saturday Morning Cartoon Club. The link will be in the description down below. This podcast is brought to you by Another Happy Studios, so make sure to check out all the other podcasts in our network. Brian, any final words before we let these people go?
Fart.
Ah, you bastard. I'm not even going to thank you this time.